The new murder charges that have been added to Lil Durk's case are shocking. Turns out Durk was out here playing 3D chess on everyone, from flying to LA to oversee one of his ops get murked to paying informants to mislead cops.
I don't think Von paid them guys. I'm sorry to tell the world.
But the OTF boss might actually get cooked because the feds are now going to use the rapper's lyrics in court. Is this the end for Lil Durk? Let's find out. Lil Durk hit with new charges. When Lil Durk was arrested back in late October, the world knew that he was in for hiring OTF members to murder fellow rapper Quando Rondo. However, 2 weeks later, the rapper is facing new charges, and it's way worse than anyone thinks because some of the new details emerging are nothing short of shocking. Right now, the indictment charges Lil Durk with 1 count of conspiracy, 1 count of using interstate facilities to commit murder for hire resulting in death, and 1 count of using, carrying, and discharging firearms, including a machine gun, in furtherance of a crime of violence resulting in death. The charges were serious, carrying the potential for a life sentence if convicted. The indictment reveals how the plot unfolded, and the new details the feds have made public might actually cook Durkio. According to the feds, the story begins with the tragic death of Chicago rapper King Von in 2020. King Von's death sent shockwaves through the music industry and sparked a series of events that would eventually lead to the arrest of several OTF members. The federal indictment also reveals that 5 individuals associated with OTF, Calvin London Grant, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Brian Lindsay, and Asa Houston were charged in Los Angeles with plotting to kill rapper Quando Rondo. This plot is believed to be a retaliatory act linked to the circumstances surrounding King Von's death. The indictment shows how the feds uncovered a web of connections and communications that suggested a coordinated effort to target Quando Rondo. It turns out that OTF members allegedly conspired to carry out the murder for hire plot, which ultimately led to their arrests. The 5 men used OTF-affiliated credit cards to book flights and rental cars to the scene of the shooting, and now they are faced with grave charges, including murder for hire involving a death and the use of a machine gun in a violent crime. The indictment traces the beef between Durk and Quando Rondo back to an altercation outside in Atlanta, a nightclub where Von physically attacked Quando Rondo, escalating into gunfire. CCTV footage showed Von approaching fellow rapper Quando Rondo and punching him to the ground. Von's guys joined in and started raining blows on Quando as he tried to get away from his attackers. One of Quando's homeboys, Lil Tim, appeared from behind their vehicle with a gun in hand and started letting off shots as everyone ran away. Von was hit on his torso and later died from his gunshot wounds while in hospital. For Lil Durk, the death of his friend was not only a personal tragedy, but also the start of his beef with Quando Rondo. Rumors began to circulate that Durk had placed a bounty on Rondo's head. Turns out it was actually true. According to court documents, an OTF member told cops that after Von's death, Durk used coded language to tell OTF members that he would pay a bounty to anyone who would take part in killing Quando Rondo. Durk's cousin, DeAndre Wilson, also told OTF members that anyone who took part in the murder would be rewarded with lucrative music opportunities with OTF. In August 2022, the situation reached a boiling point. According to federal court records, Lil Durk's associates allegedly learned that Quando Rondo was staying at a hotel in Los Angeles. This information set off a chain of events that would culminate in a carefully planned murder plot. On August 18, 2022, a carefully orchestrated plan was set into motion, aiming to ambush and eliminate Quando Rondo in the heart of Los Angeles. The details of this plot, as revealed through federal court records, paint a chilling picture of the lengths to which individuals were willing to go in pursuit of vengeance. The day began with Lil Durk's associates, DeAndre Wilson, Keith Jones, David Lindsay, and Asa Houston arriving in Los Angeles. They had traveled from Chicago to San Diego and then driven to Los Angeles, allegedly using funds provided by Durk himself. The group was determined to carry out their mission with precision and stealth, avoiding any direct links to Durk by following his alleged instructions to avoid booking flights under names associated with him. The feds revealed that they obtained information from Durk's iCloud, where he warned them not to book anything in his name. However, despite the warning, they still went ahead and booked the flights using a credit card linked to Lil Durk and OTF. Upon their arrival, the OTF members met with Keon Grant, a top associate who had flown to Los Angeles on a private jet. Now, this is where things get interesting because the updated indictment has a new chilling detail. It turns out that Keon Grant didn't fly alone. Lil Durk was with him, and that's some pretty damning information. Grant played a crucial role in facilitating the operation, securing hotel accommodations for the group, purchasing ski masks, and obtaining 2 luxury sedans to be used in the ambush. According to court records, Grant also provided Jones, Lindsay, and an unidentified third man with firearms, including one that had been converted into a machine gun, further escalating the potential for violence. As the day unfolded, the group allegedly began tracking Quando Rondo as he traveled around Los Angeles in a Cadillac Escalade. Their journey took them to various locations, including a marijuana dispensary and a clothing store in West Hollywood. The climax of the day's events occurred at a gas station across from the Beverly Center in the heart of of Los Angeles. Here, Asa Houston allegedly parked his car strategically behind the station, setting the stage for the ambush. As Quando Rondo and Robinson stopped at the gas station, Jones, Lindsay, and the unidentified third man reportedly exited their vehicle, armed and ready to execute their plan. In a dramatic turn of events, the suspects opened fire, unleashing a hail of bullets in an attempt to kill Rondo. Tragically, Quando Rondo's cousin, Lil Pab, who was standing outside the Escalade, was struck and killed in the gunfire, while Rondo miraculously escaped unharmed. In the aftermath of the attempted ambush, the suspects regrouped at an In-N-Out hamburger stand, where they allegedly discussed payment with Kion Grant. The group then made their way back to Chicago, flying from San Diego, as authorities began piecing together the details of the brazen attack. So the guy who equipped and later paid off the shooters had flown with Lil Durk to LA just a few hours before the shooting, and to make everything worse, he did all these with credit cards linked to Durk and OTF. Damn, it might take a miracle for Durkio to get himself out of this one. But that's not all the new indictment revealed. When news broke out that the Chicago rapper had been arrested, there was a rumor that he had tried to flee the country. At the time, everyone at the blogs were trying to blow things out of proportion, but it turns out it was straight facts. The apprehension of Mr. Banks as he attempted to leave the United States is once again proof that the FBI and our extraordinary partners at the Los Angeles Police Department have a long reach, said the assistant director in charge of the FBI Los Angeles field office. As it turns out, the feds have been keeping tabs on him for a long time. The FBI had even infiltrated his gang and knew his every move. It was during this period of heightened surveillance that the FBI learned of Lil Durk's attempts to leave the country. According to the indictment, U.S. Customs and Border Protection alerted the FBI when Durk booked 2 one-way flights to Dubai and Switzerland on October 24th. These bookings raised immediate red flags, as they suggested an attempt to evade the legal consequences of the unfolding indictment. While Lil Durk did not board the flights to Dubai or Switzerland, the situation took a more dramatic turn when the FBI discovered that he had also arranged for a private plane to depart Miami and arrive in Italy. This revelation added a new layer of urgency to the investigation, prompting law enforcement to act swiftly. The timing of these bookings, coupled with the serious charges facing his associates, painted a picture of a man on the run, seeking refuge from the storm of legal troubles closing in on him. On the evening of Thursday, October 24th, FBI agents moved in to arrest Lil Durk at the Miami area airport. The arrest took place around 8 p.m., just an hour before his scheduled departure to Italy. The swift action by law enforcement ensured that Lil Durk would not evade justice, as he was transported to Broward County Jail. A federal magistrate judge in Miami has ordered him jailed without bond until he is transferred to Los Angeles for arraignment. It also turns out that the FBI and LAPD's Operation West Bureau homicide detectives discovered that Durk was involved in this heinous murder, and how they did it will shock you, because it turns out those involved couldn't help but brag about the hit on social media. Root cause. King Von, one of Chicago's brightest stars in the drill scene, saw his life cut tragically short on the night of November 6, 2020, outside Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta. He was only 26, full of promise, and on the brink of solidifying his name in hip-hop. But that night was the culmination of deep-seated beefs, unspoken codes, and cycles of violence that have long been woven into the culture. The shooting wasn't random. It had been brewing between King Von's crew and Quando Rondo's camp, tensions that stretched back to the streets and rivalries tied to loyalty, pride, and respect. According to reports, Von and his crew confronted Quando's team outside the club, and what started as an argument quickly spiraled into gunfire. Chaos erupted, leaving 3 people dead and 3 others injured. The shots that claimed Von's life came from Timothy Leaks, a close friend of Quando Rondo. Von was hit during the initial exchange of gunfire, but the chaos didn't stop there. Bystanders scattered, bullets flew, and Atlanta police, who were already on the scene, were forced to step in. Von's crew managed to get him to a hospital in a private car, but it was too late. His injuries were fatal.
Did you think that King Von survived the shooting, or did you know that he was gone at that point?
No, I didn't know neither one, if he was gone or still alive. I just, like I say, I didn't even know it was him.
Meanwhile, Lil Tim, who was also wounded in the shootout, was taken to Grady Hospital, where he was arrested and charged with Von's murder.
So I didn't even know if he was dead or alive. I just was trying to make sure Quando was good.
For Lil Durk, Von was family. According to whispers on the streets, Durk wasn't about to let Von's death go unanswered. Revenge was now about honor. It was about the principles that the streets demand. Rumors swirled about Durk allegedly offering a bounty for those responsible, a move that showed just how personal this loss was. In a world governed by unspoken rules of loyalty and respect, letting this go unpunished wasn't an option. The loss of Von ignited a fire, and many feared it was only the beginning of another cycle of violence. For those in the know, it wasn't a question of if there would be retaliation, it was only a matter of when. For Durk and those closest to Von, a court ruling wasn't going to bring peace. But this cycle of violence isn't new. It's the harsh reality of a culture built on survival. The streets thrive on this unending loop of feuds, retaliations, and losses, leaving little room for peace. After Von's death, the Slide for Von campaign became a movement, pushed by people who barely knew Von or his story, but were quick to demand revenge. It started as trolling, but quickly spiraled into a pressure cooker for Lil Durk, someone who was already carrying the weight of losing his close friend. The demand was simple. Durk needed to pick up a gun, handle business, and avenge Von's death. The streets don't forget, and Durk's music only amplified the expectations. If he rapped about handling his ops, why wasn't he handling this? That was the logic fans and even some peers used to question his authenticity. Durk's response was measured, though you could feel the frustration. In an Instagram story, he addressed the chatter directly. "You don't slide for your mans, don't kick no killer our way." It was a pointed message, not just to the trolls, but to anyone doubting his loyalty. But even with that, the pressure didn't let up. But this isn't just a Durk problem, it's a hip-hop culture problem. The genre has grown so massive that it attracts all kinds of audiences, and with that comes a subset of fans who treat it like a spectator sport. They don't care about the cycles of violence or the families left behind. They're just here for the drama and the headlines, and the truth is, this isn't going to stop. As long as the culture celebrates retaliation, as long as fans demand that artists live out their lyrics, and as long as the streets see violence as the only answer to loss, the cycle will repeat. But Lil Durk became part of this cycle and eventually was betrayed by his close friend OTF Jam. Jam was part of the inner circle, a trusted ally who had been through the fire. After serving a grueling 12-year prison sentence for a shooting in 2010, Jam came home in 2022 to a warm welcome from Durk. Reports say Durk gave him $50,000 as a welcome home gift, ensuring Jam had a fresh start. It was a classic Durk move, taking care of his people and showing love to those who held it down. But according to swirling rumors, that loyalty wasn't mutual.
They called me with a cash, so I picked my shit up. I'm like, man, this nigga boom, man. He left. He's playing today. Slow. Vacation. Trying to tell him.
The whisper started after Durk's arrest, but what made the case even messier was the chatter that someone from Durk's own camp had been working with the feds, and all eyes turned to OTF Jam. DJ academics and other internet personalities fueled the fire, suggesting Jam had been wearing a wire for years, feeding information to federal investigators about Durk and OTF.
Did 12 years.
12
Got
years?
out, interviewed, said he kept it real, brought him cars, gave him 50,000.
Right.
This. Ain't no smut on his name. He ain't never been a rat. Caught a gun case, but eventually he flipped.
Whack 100 added fuel to the fire in an interview, claiming Jam flipped after catching a second gun charge following his release. But the cycle would continue as Durk learned about Jam's cooperation with law enforcement. He retaliated in a way that made things worse. Reports claim Durk put a hit out on Jam's baby mother, Octavia Redmond, who was tragically gunned down in South Chicago. Jam's cooperation with the feds cuts deeper than most blows because it was a reminder that in this game, the biggest threats often came from within. Lil Durk's world seemed to crumble piece by piece as the feds closed in. He tried to stay one step ahead of law enforcement, but nothing could keep him out of their reach. With the pressure mounting, they say he made a bold attempt to escape U.S. jurisdiction. The rapper allegedly booked multiple international flights in what looked like an attempt to vanish before the feds could tighten their grip. Records revealed 2 one-way tickets, one to Dubai and another to Switzerland. Neither flight was boarded. The real move came when he arranged for a private jet to Italy, a costly and strategic plan that might have worked if the FBI hadn't been watching his every move. The timing was tight. Durk was set to board his private jet in Miami when federal agents swooped in. Just an hour before departure, they apprehended him, shutting down any chance of escape. It was a dramatic end to what could have been an international disappearance. Instead of enjoying the luxury of Italy or the seclusion of Switzerland, Durk found himself sitting in the Broward County Jail, facing conspiracy charges tied to the murder-for-hire allegations. The feds had him wiretapped, tracked, and stacked with enough evidence to lock him up. Now the real question is, can Durk beat the case? Aftermath. Lil Durk, once a hometown hero celebrated for his success and community outreach, is now watching his legacy in Chicago unravel in the wake of his high-profile arrest. Just a while ago, Durk was honored with the keys to the cities of Bellwood and Broadview, Illinois, symbols of recognition for his charitable work and his connection to the neighborhoods. But the same leaders who praised him are now distancing themselves as the fallout from his legal troubles intensifies. The backlash was swift. Broadview Mayor Katrina Thompson, who had handed Durk the key to her village just days earlier, wasted no time in revoking revoking the honor and severing ties with his Neighborhood Heroes Foundation. Thompson explained her decision with a statement emphasizing her responsibility to uphold the community's values. She stated on the village's Facebook page that village residents are held to even higher moral and ethical standards of behavior. She further asserted that, as mayor, her top priority is protecting Broadview's interests and upholding the values of its residents. In Bellwood, Mayor Andre Harvey expressed a more cautious stance, deciding not to revoke the key until the legal process had concluded. He remarked that in the United States, the accused are considered innocent until proven guilty. Despite this careful approach, Harvey's decision has faced criticism from local residents and officials who argue that honoring Durk, given his legal troubles and controversial history, sets a poor example for the community. Community members have voiced frustration, questioning why Durk was chosen for such an honor in the first place. Critics like Angela Patterson, a mayoral candidate in Broadview, argued that the decision to celebrate Durk reflected poor judgment. Others pointed out that many unsung heroes within the community have dedicated their lives to making a difference without the controversy surrounding a high-profile rap career. The controversy didn't stop with the mayors. Durk's charitable donations have also come under scrutiny. Among them was a $150,000 contribution to Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson's campaign. When asked whether he would return the money, Mayor Johnson defended the donation, emphasizing that Durk has been instrumental in supporting Chicago's youth. But for some, even this stance felt too lenient given the gravity of the charges. For Durk, this moment is a reckoning with how his dual identities as a rapper and a community leader collide. The key ceremonies, once a celebration of his success in philanthropy, now serve as a stark reminder of how quickly public opinion can shift. Leaders like Mayor Thompson, who initially championed Durk as a role model, now face the challenge of reconciling his positive contributions with the allegations against him. While the legal process will ultimately determine his guilt or innocence, the damage to his reputation in Chicago, where he was once hailed as a hero, is already apparent. Even his legal troubles have reached a point where the stakes couldn't be higher. The Chicago-born rapper, known for his rise from the trenches to the top of the rap game, now faces the harsh reality of possibly spending the rest of his life behind bars. His arrest on murder-for-hire charges shows how the rapper has been caught in a cycle of loyalty, street ties, and the consequences of fame. But this isn't just about one incident. It's about a lifestyle that the legal system claims Durk hasn't fully left behind. They're coming at him with conspiracy charges, accusations of using interstate facilities to commit murder for hire, and even firearm charges that include carrying and discharging a machine gun. If convicted, these charges could lead to life in federal prison, a sentence that would strip him of everything he's built, from his music empire to his freedom. The case against Durk is deeply tied to his crew, Only the Family. Federal investigators have zeroed in on key OTF members, alleging they were part of the planning and execution of the attack. The FBI has gone all in on this case. Using wiretaps and advanced surveillance, they've reportedly pieced together a timeline of events that paints a damning picture of Durk's alleged involvement. They claim to have intercepted phone calls and messages that link him directly to the planning stages of the attack, including discussions about weapons, travel arrangements, and the overall strategy. For someone like Durk, the implications of these charges are massive. He's not just a rapper, he's a symbol of resilience for many, who look up to him as proof that you can make it out of the struggle. But this case threatens to overshadow his success, dragging him back into the narrative of street violence and gang ties that he's been trying to move past. His music, which often tells raw stories of survival and loyalty, now feels strangely reflective of the allegations he's facing. The possibility of life in prison looms over Durk like a dark cloud. Federal charges are no joke, especially when they include conspiracy and murder for hire. If convicted, Durk could spend the rest of his days in a federal facility, with no parole and limited chances for appeal. For Durk, this moment is a crossroads. He's pleaded not guilty and is preparing to fight these charges in court, but the battle ahead is steep. His legal team will have to dismantle the federal government's narrative piece by piece, proving that the man who's topped Billboard charts and won Grammys isn't the same man orchestrating street-level violence. People have been speculating that Durk could face the electric chair for his role in the murder for hire plot. TikTok went into overdrive after users started posting memes and videos speculating about Durk's potential fate. Fans in the comments were torn. Some worried this might be true, while others dismissed it as internet trolling gone too far. Here's the reality. California, where Durk's case is being tried, doesn't allow capital punishment. The state put a moratorium on the death penalty back in 2019 under Governor Gavin Newsom, and federal rulings before that had already paused executions. So, while the electric chair rumors might make for sensational content, they're far from grounded in fact. The most severe penalty Durk could realistically face, if convicted, is life in prison without the possibility of parole, not death by electrocution. Durk's recent cancellations have fans talking, but not in the way you might think. While some artists might lose momentum or face backlash, Durk's fan base has shown nothing but loyalty and belief in his ability to bounce back. They see this moment not as a setback, but as a necessary pause for him to regroup, recover, and come back stronger than ever. Durk has been carrying a lot lately, between the intense scrutiny scrutiny of his personal life, the weight of ongoing legal battles, and the non-stop grind of being one of hip-hop's biggest names, it's clear the man is tired. Fans say that Durk's exhaustion is real, but it's only temporary. Once he gets his energy back and clears his head, he'll be right back on top. The buzz around his next album is already wild. Fans are saying it could be the biggest project of his career, a reflection of everything he's been through and where he's headed next. Since 2020, Durk's been on an unstoppable run, dropping hit after hit and solidifying his spot in the game. If his upcoming work taps into that same energy, blending raw emotion with his signature sound, it's hard to see it being anything less than a massive success. What's fueling this confidence is the way Durk's always used adversity as motivation. Whether it's losing loved ones, dealing with street politics, or facing public criticism, he's never let it break him. Instead, he channels it into his music, creating tracks that feel authentic and relatable. Fans see this moment as just another chapter in his story, a story they've been invested in since day one. They know he's not the type to stay down for long. This isn't the first time an artist has needed to step back to step up. Look at legends like Kanye West or Kendrick Lamar, who've taken breaks only to come back with game-changing projects. Fans see Durk following a similar path. He's already proven he has the talent, the work ethic, and the vision. Now, he just needs the time to recharge and refocus. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click on one of the videos on your screen to dive into more content from our channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more.